Well, the final Friday Night Lights in September is upon us. Great matchups on deck. Minot and Cheyenne, a top 3 battle in Class 3A. Kindred and Lisbon, a good one coming in Class A. West Hope, Newburgh, Glenburn against Alexander in a battle of 9-man unbeatens. Then you got South Border against New Salem, Almont. We'll see if the Holsteins can get back on track after being upset by Hettinger County. Jody Norstead here for Midco Sports in presenting the game ball, but also want to get a little bit of a plug-in. We'll be in Grand Forks on Friday as 4th-ranked Red River hosts top-ranked North. We'll have it for you live on TV and streaming on Midco Sports Plus at 6 o'clock. That is one of 2 ranked matchups in AA, Jamestown and Dickinson being the other. Well, we got another one of these bad boys on the line. Game ball time. The submissions were rolling in this week. Good problem if you like great performances. Difficult problem for the ones that have to make the final call on top performers and the winner of this game ball presented by Farmers Union Insurance. But it's heading out west this week for a Jet who took off in the second half and never looked back, leading his Bishop Ryan squad to a key region win. More on that performance shortly, but we start out west in Dickinson, where Trinity's Ty Dollsinger was a two-way stud in the Titans' 33-14 win over 5th-ranked Shiloh Christian. In the pouring rain, Dollsinger rumbled for 171 yards and a touchdown on 19 carries. He also racked up 40 receiving yards. He was a game record on defense too, making 5 tackles, including a couple tackles for loss. Dollsinger and the Titans are one of 4 undefeated teams left in Class A. Well, the boys up at 4 wins improved to 3-2 with a win over St. John. UND commit Dang Dang doing a little bit of everything right now for the Indians. He pulled off a touchdown hat trick with 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 receiving touchdowns, and a passing score. 150 yards on the ground, 70 yards receiving, and 30 yards passing. Boy, when you have a playmaker like him, you find creative ways to get him in space, and kudos to the 4 Winds coaching staff for doing just that. Hankinson came up short in its bid to upset 2nd-ranked Sargent County, but sophomore Rayshawn Earl made sure the Pirates went down swinging. He passed for 271 yards and a touchdown, 1 for each finger on his hand. Defensively, he forced a Bulldog turnover with an interception. More from this game in a bit. Fargo North's Peter Halgo made a strong case for being a rare 2-time winner of the award. He was electrifying in Friday's rivalry win over South in a top 2 battle in Class AA. Every time the Bruins looked to be gaining momentum, well, Halgo ripped off a 60-plus yard touchdown run. And I'm not exaggerating either. All 3 of his touchdown runs topped 60 yards. He finished the night going for 270 and 3 on just 18 carries. Look at those holes he's running through too. Let's give that offensive line some love. Kason Dick, Jordan Zander, Xavier Buckmiller, Jackson Hagenes, and Jack Miller, along with those big tight ends, Carter Zeller and Joe Rose, and don't forget that fullback, Jim Miller. They don't get their name in their box score for blocks, but I'll give them some love on here. Well, Bismarck's offensive line has been doing similar work in helping pave the way for Carter Hankey lately. The Demon Senior has been grabbing touchdowns like kids grab candy at the parade by the handful. He scored 4 more in the win over West Fargo Thursday night to go with 170 combined yards. The Demons have won 4 straight, but the schedule gets really tough here in the second half of the season. I think we're just better off picking names out of a hat each week for a Shanley representative. The offense just continues to look unstoppable. Century was the latest victim. Quarterback Landon Meyer, the orchestrator, another ho-hum 340 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. But 3 of those touchdowns went to the guy who makes the list this week, that being Jordan Leininger. All 3 scores came off the quick pass to the sideline, and Leininger did the rest alongside some great blockers in front of him. Reaching the end zone on offense wasn't enough, though, for Leininger. For the 2nd time this year, he converted a pick 6. The Deacons have scored at least 5 touchdowns in every game this season. Boy, they've been impressive. We have another top performer from that North-South game. I have to give credit to what Bruins receiver Duane Mitchell did in that game. He made 6 catches for 119 yards and 2 touchdowns. 1 touchdown was a great fingertip catch in stride, and the second was in the final minutes of the game on a 4th and long. He caught the touchdown that gave the Bruins a chance to tie or take the lead. They'd go for 2 and get stopped, but Mitchell was an absolute baller on Friday night. Well, North Prairie drove 3.5 hours to get to Lemoore for a huge non-region clash, and then the Cougars drove up and down the field all night behind a dominant offensive line that paved the way for 537 rush yards and 8 touchdowns on 47 carries. How about that? The run worked so well that they didn't attempt a single pass in the 56-34 win. Haviland DeLong rushed for over 200 yards in the game, while Blake Matson topped 300 yards. The guys that deserve the real credit, though, Cole Henderson, Brant Mickelson, NDSU commit Nate Tasted, his brother Brett, and Carter Cassavant. Midway-Minto won its first game since October 1st of 2021, and Riley Robinson was the hero for the Mustangs. He passed for 5 touchdowns, rushed for 2 more, giving him a lucky 7 touchdowns in the night in the 48-44 victory over Larimore. Congrats to the Mustangs, baby. Hard work pays off. Well, Sargent County is the new top dog in 9-man after New Salem's loss last week. The Bulldogs took down a feisty bunch from Hankinson, 65-32 on homecoming night. They rode running back James Traynor at times, and he delivered 18 carries, 200 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. He also chipped in a pick 6 defensively. Sargent County has a chance to run the table here in the regular season. Okay, that's the list of top performers, and trust me, if you made that list, consider yourself fortunate because the competition each week is incredibly impressive. All right, let's get to our game ball winner presented by Farmers Union Insurance. Congratulations are in order for Bishop Ryan Jr. Jet Lundeen for leading the Lions to a 4th consecutive victory, and it wasn't easy by any means. The Lions trailed Stanley 7-0 until just before halftime when Lundeen carried defenders for 5 yards into the end zone for his first touchdown. Then in the second half, with the rain coming down, he proved the Jets can fly in any type of weather. He rushed for a couple more scores and passed for a trio of touchdowns in the 44-14 win. It's like he switched the difficult level from hard to easy at halftime. But as you can see by these highlights, these plays were anything but easy. You can see him scrambling in the pocket from constant pressure and making great throws. He was killing the Blue Jays with his legs too. And then when the final horn sounded, listen to this, Lundeen had racked up nearly 500 yards himself. He finished with 253 passing and 217 rushing to go with his 6-pack of touchdowns. So Jet Lundeen, you have a game ball coming your way, my man. Congrats to the Lions, but they don't get to celebrate much with the tilt against Des Lacs Burlington coming up Thursday night this week. Thanks again to all those folks who sent in nominations. Keep them coming as we enter October. And a reminder, we'll be live in Grand Forks on Friday. It's the Fargo North Spartans and the Grand Forks Red River Rough Riders. Early start, 6 o'clock on Midco Sports, and of course Varsity Sports Live at 10:30. We'll see you then.